Alright, you clicked this video, which means you're going to be watching me tell you my thoughts on Disney's Aladdin. Now, if you're one of those poor unfortunate souls who has never watched this movie, or is just too adult to watch an animated masterpiece, shame on you. I will now give you a brief summary of the film because you didn't do your research before asking me my opinion. We begin with a film with Robin Williams giving a sales pitch for all of the crap in his junk shop. He begins to tell us a story about some sort of strange teacup. Don't think too much about him, he won't be appearing again for another 4 years. We then meet the lead of our great movie, Alderaan. He is the street hobo of Alibaba with his furry sidekick Dinner on a Bad Day. Al goes into a wonderful musical number with the Hat Gang. They have many swords. Albertson ends up getting caught by some rich girl and locked away. That's what he gets for fiddling around. He gets drafted into a prison gang with an old man with bad teeth and then breaks out of jail. During this escape, our lead is eaten by a giant sand cat and digested. The end. Just kidding, the cat actually has quite a rich diet. Literally, gold, rocks, carpets, rocks, Egyptian architecture, and a large, shiny rock. We find the so-called teacup during a fit of indigestion. This is very painful to our sand tiger, but after a nap, things calm down a lot. This is when Albert gets thirsty and rummages for something to drink when the ghost of Christmas past appears. With witty remarks and very bad puns, our two friends head off for some refreshing drinks in some oasis. Refreshed and rested from his time in the oasis, Mr. Anderson gathers an army to get vengeance on whatever city, Baghdad or whatever, and then he invades. The Hat Gang, recognizing their dance king, now bows before him to avoid being owned again. Reaching the palace, Geoffrey the butler tried to hold off the invading force, and he didn't succeed. With his conquest accomplished, Algorithm demanded retribution for his false imprisonment and sent the old king to the moon. His aim was really bad, so the king literally flew right back in his face. Knowing that his life was on the line, the king gave his daughter as tribute for his life and the life of the city. Alberta agreed. The princess disapproved. That night, when he came to conquer his prize, he got major dumped. Learning of how he had been acting like a giant douche nozzle, he jumps to his death. But Slimer said no, and made him fly like Peter Pan, but not with pixie dust, he had a carpet. The princess, who was kind of impressed, agreed to fly with him a bit. To be honest, the next part of the film is pretty confusing, but we're pretty sure there was a lot of drugs and sim-style woohooing as he sings about flying high around on a magic carpet. Very subtle, Disney. Very subtle. As Alberta basks in content bliss, the Hat Gang kidnapped him for a fun party at the beach. They learned the hard way that Allie's ability to swim makes a rock look good, so they buggered off in embarrassment not to be seen again until the next film. When Arnold returned to the palace, KFC took the teapot to Jennifer, the bearded lady. Much joy was had as it completed her set. There was some music and Armstrong was sent to space. The ship fell short, so he went home. Jacob redecorated while he was gone. Then there's a giant snake for some reason, and then another music number while riding high on drugs. Casper completed his unfinished business, and then ascended to heaven. As anyone who has already seen the movie can tell, this is 100% accurate. If you have not watched the movie, tough. Alright, now let's get down to the actual review of this film. I think Aladdin is a bad film. Yes, I said it. I think it is a poorly done film and should not be held in as high of a regard as it currently is. Now, before you go lighting those torches and sharpen those pitchforks, let me explain myself. In any story, you need to have a few essential things. A lead character, a goal for the lead character, and a final destination for them to get to. In Aladdin, we have our lead, whose goal is to get the pretty girl. He accomplishes this by finding a genie and creating a giant illusion to attempt to impress her and her father. The conflict comes when his lies come to light and he has to rescue everyone from an evil sorcerer, and in the end he gets the girl. I have a couple of problems with this. First, I feel Jafar was not needed in the film at all. The conflict was mostly revolving around Aladdin's lies, and him fighting the battle to be either himself or Prince Ali. We didn't need some major villain do all this voodoo stuff because Aladdin just working to restore his trust to Jasmine and the Sultan could have made a good enough story, as well as a much more relatable one to the audience. Don't lie, you'll be caught and it isn't worth it. The major villain retracts all this and makes the lesson in the end much less pronounced. It changes it too. If you lie, you just need to save the girl and you will be forgiven. Yay! I call bull. You'll be thanked for saving them, but you never proved you can be trusted. You're just good at fighting, and that won't save a relationship when the foundations are already cracking with doubt. Next, I'll address the elephant in the room. Literally. Aladdin wished to become a prince, which means he has to become a royal somewhere in the world. A prince means that there is a father somewhere who is a king. To be a royal, you need a nation to rule, and I'm pretty sure Aladdin didn't become the Prince of Imagination. Ugh, that was painful to say. That would mean that the genie literally created a brand new country for him to rule, a nation which he literally abandons right off the bat to go woo some girl. He has as much sense of responsibility as his father, which we will review when we check out the movie King of Thieves. On the march into Agrabah, he gloats about how much wealth he has. What he is trying to say is, look how impressive I am! But in reality, and the more likely reason the Sultan gets excited, is because Prince Ali is showing off how much power he can give by allying with Agrabah. To the Sultan, this is a major gain for such a small country. To marry her to a prince, to get more power, to increase your country's standing in the world, that means safety. Due to Aladdin's lying, the Sultan is gaining nothing. He doesn't have a son, so marrying his daughter is his only way for him to keep the kingdom from falling into ruin or losing the respect of the other leaders of the world and giving the impression of weakness. Showing weakness in politics is a death sentence, especially in the time period this movie takes place in. So where did Aladdin come from? Did he get a country? Probably not. It was all a ruse, a lie, to fool the royal family into giving him what he desired. Were they just poofed into existence? Maybe. But wouldn't the ruckus they made coming into town make their disappearance all the more suspicious? An ill omen? Or are they, like Abu, created from creatures in the oasis? Physically humans, but the minds of insects. Their big song and dance controlled by the genie's power, but back to their natural instincts after, shuffling into the shadows and living off the scraps of society. Prince of Thieves makes a lot more sense in this situation now, doesn't it? Aladdin doesn't really sound like a hero anymore, does he? Not the type of role model you want your kids to aim for. But don't worry too much about that either. It doesn't matter, because the worst part of Aladdin is one thing. Robin Williams. He is the reason I call it a bad film. The reason I say Robin Williams is the worst part of the film is because he is too good at what he does. He literally steals the show every time he comes onto the screen. In the beginning of the films, the Robin Williams monologue over the lamp. Aladdin finally gets the lamp. What is he going to do? Robin Williams cracking jokes. Romantic tension? Nope. Robin Williams. Climactic scene of desperation? Robin Williams. Epic fight against the big bad villain? Nope, just some more Robin Williams. Even at the end of the film, when everything is tied together, we get one more hit of Robin Williams. My question is this. Who is the real main character of the film? Is it really Aladdin? Because I can't seem to tell anymore. Why isn't it called Aladdin and the Genie? Then you could have had him all he wants on the screen. But no, it's just called Aladdin. The main character is just that, Aladdin. The genie is a supporting character to help guide Aladdin to his goal, getting the girl Jasmine. But the film is ruined because the genie cannot stay in the supporting character role. He just has to overreach and take over all of the scenes with his pop culture jokes, consistent puns, and other nonsense from start to end. Fundamentally, that is very poor storytelling. That is why I say Aladdin is a bad film. Now, do I say scrap the whole film because it's bad? No! I love this blasted film. It's by far my favorite Disney movie. And if I had to choose one to watch again, I tend to always think of this one first. It's truly a classic. Only don't go calling it good, because it really isn't. Thank God you had Robin Williams in it, because I'm pretty sure that it would have faded into obscurity, just like a few other films. But watch whatever you want. Not like I can stop you. Seriously, Aladdin's a douche. Why do we care?